Stay put.
Hi, Wendy. I am back, everybody. Well, good morning. Happy Monday.
It's so great to have you back. Everybody's missed you.
Look at this view. What a great Monday morning view. And what an amazing topic. Hey, Steve, what are we talking about today?
The spatial monitoring and reporting tool. It's called SMART. It's a really neat software app. It's been developed by staff here at the North Carolina Zoo. And Chelsea,
Yeah, Steve?
not everybody's happy Wendy's back.
I mean, I think you look great.
Not everybody's happy Wendy's back.
Well, I figured since we were talking about the SMART program and we have our expert to talk about SMART.
I don't have to be the expert today.
You don't have to be the expert. And I mean, it's okay to not always know the answers, right?
Right. Right. Can I begin our program
I
today?
greatly overestimated the size of your head, didn't I?
I think, Drew! Drew! Where's Drew?
Hello.
Let's begin this process.
All right. Feeling better?
No.
Okay.
Hey everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today to today's Zoo Adventure. We're very excited. We're very lucky to be able to bring this to you today. We have Drew Cronin here. Drew, what's your title at North Carolina Zoo?
Associate Curator of International Conservation.
Associate Curator of some really cool things.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. That's amazing. That's so cool. And because you've earned it, you're a doctor.
Yes.
We should let everybody know he is Dr. Cronin because he's earned the title. But you're also very awesome and be able to work. We can call you Drew on a little routine here.
Yeah.
So Drew has been very instrumental in getting SMART, that spatial monitoring and reporting tool, up and running. And before we get started too far, we're actually going to go on patrol. We're on the grasslands habitat. So we're here with the ostrich. We're here with some of the antelope. We're here with a pickup truck in the background.
We've never seen one of those in the wild before. So.
Rare and endangered species. And the rhinos are here too. So before we go on patrol, can you kind of tell our digital guests what is SMART all about?
Sure. So SMART is a set of technologies that are designed to help improve the management of protected areas.
Okay.
So from the data collection in the field into data entry, into analysis, into reporting, and then decision making, it's made to kind of help at each stage of the way.
Okay.
And the idea
and it's a software program primarily, right?
It's software implemented obviously by people.
Sure.
But the key is if we can make decision making and data flows better on the ground, then you can better implement the resource that you have. Right?
Gotcha. So you're trying to find that. You're kind of going out, and it's the people that are in the countries that are actually doing the work, right? We're not doing the work. Mm-hmm. It's the folks that are there. So for example, the rangers in Africa are the ones taking these tools out.
Yeah.
Right? Cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you guys have an idea what SMART is? How about give me a yes, Chelsea. Give me a yes. I think everything's good.
Yeah.
So it's complicated, but at the same time, it's really valuable, and it's putting those resources where we need them to elevate conservation in these countries.
Exactly. Yeah. At its most simple, it's if I only have a limited amount of resources, how should I use them? Right?
Oh, there you go.
This helps you
I love it.
figure out how to use them. What's going to be the most impactful, have the most benefit for the wildlife that you're in charge of.
I love that. And that's kind of what's going on now. We did it even all the way through COVID, didn't we? Because sometimes our resources became limited. So this is what I have. What do I want to use this money, an example, or these people, where are they going to be most beneficial? So even recently, we've been able to see that going on, especially here in the United States, and I know across the country. Diane Williamson, if you're listening, I'm sure over in England, you've had the same thing going on over there. So, before we go on patrol, what do we do? Remember, we're going on patrol. So, what are we going to do? You've got a device.
Got a couple devices here. Yeah.
So, technology.
So.
Isn't that just your phone?
Oh, you hush,
that
Wendy.
Was your phone.
No, this is a little bit big and a little bit hard. I could throw this out of the car and it'd be fine. And I would not do that with my phone.
I'm like, I can't do that with my phone.
Yeah. So what's cool
I
about
bet I could throw this a long way away.
Well,
these
he was a pitcher.
These are smartphones. So these are just like Android smartphones. Yeah. So I mean, they don't look exactly like everyday phones, but they are Android smartphones.
This is cool.
And when I started using this stuff,
yeah,
a long time ago,
right?
I'm not too old, but still, they were big old bricks, and they
Oh,
cost like
really?
$2,000. And nowadays, these you can get them for just a few $100s, just like everyday smartphones.
No kidding.
And it's incredible what technology's become
No
over
kidding.
the last 10 years.
And this is the device they have in the country.
this is one type of device, and this is we could just turn these on here. Sorry, where's the button?
I don't know.
I think I've turned it around on you.
This is really cool because it is smaller.
Yeah, it is.
It's
I mean,
so
look at that.
portable.
Yeah.
And almost everybody, even 4-year-olds, know how to work a cell phone at this point.
It's better than I do.
Yeah, and what's again with it in terms of resources, what's
Yep.
cool about this is now we can bring technology at a relatively low cost to places where there's really limited resources.
How many places use these kind of things?
Well, these devices, I'm not sure, but Smart is
Yeah,
used in almost 1,000 places around the world.
Did you hear that? 1,000.
1,000?
Yeah.
And before we go any further, you guys might be going, why are they doing this? See the logo on his shirt? Drew works at your North Carolina Zoo, guys. This was developed by staff at your North Carolina Zoo. Now the technology is in 1,000 different countries.
What is probably the one animal we wouldn't think we use this with? Like, we know what you're doing in Africa, but is there other places that this is used?
Sure, yeah, I mean, it's used all around the world. I mean, most recently a sort of random one is tree kangaroos.
Tree kangaroos?
Yeah, in Papua New Guinea. That's
Oh
like
my
That is so cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, all around the world, all
That is
sorts
so
of
neat.
animals.
All right.
I mean, all the sort of standard ones that you think of,
Yeah.
it's used.
That is so cool.
Sorry, my mask is sort of falling down here. So rangers, when they go out on patrol, they'll
Yep.
they'll start with these, and
Okay.
these are configured. So whoever's sort of in charge of the site will have set this up ahead of time. So
Nice.
it's like an app, like anybody else's app
Okay.
on the phone. It's all set up to go.
Nice.
And you can see there's a start patrol
Yep.
button there. Yeah. and
Start patrol.
So you just would click start patrol.
Thank you, Finger.
Now, and I should say that this database that we're using on the phones is based off of one that we developed for the sites we work with in Namibia and
Okay.
Southern Africa. And so this we work with the government there to help protect a number of national parks. So this is going to be very similar to what we actually use in the field.
That
but
is so cool.
I've sort of tweaked it a little bit to be relevant for North Carolina.
Yeah.
So what you do at the start of the patrol is you enter in the patrol metadata.
The Metahuda?
Yeah, so the metadata are all the sort of basic information about the patrol that you'd want to
Oh,
record. So
okay.
who's on the patrol? Where did you start the patrol? What is
Okay.
the purpose? So, like, maybe you're doing anti-poaching work, or maybe you're going
Oh,
out just to
cool.
monitor wildlife, other
Okay.
sorts of things.
So let's monitor wildlife.
Oh, there's some wildlife.
Where?
Right there.
Wendy? That's very rude. She's back. We don't have to say things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the
I
ostrich?
haven't been
Yeah.
seen in the wild in a little while,
Yeah,
but
sure.
So, okay. So we've entered our metadata. We've entered that information. Drew and Steve are on patrol. Chelsea and Wendy are with us. We have a driver. Keeper Tuttle is our driver today.
So I'm
So-
just going to go ahead and enter a couple of these things. So rangers will go on foot or in the air, on
Okay.
planes, but we're going to be on a vehicle.
Yes, we are.
We're going to call ourselves Team Whiskey because that's fun.
Why,
Start-
yes, it is.
We're in Africa. We'll do. Let's just say anti-poaching because I don't really have monitoring here.
Okay.
Objective, we'll just say adventures.
Awesome.
Okay.
And he's doing this over here, Josh. Check us out. He's actually doing it.
Employees, we've got Steve and Drew, and I don't have Wendy, but we'll just pretend
make her
it's
up.
just me and her, me and Steve, and then I'll be in charge of this one, all right? And so we'll start,
Yes.
and you can see this has got a GPS point as well, which is really critical. So in addition to all the data we've entered,
Right.
and all the data we're going to take on patrol,
Okay.
every one of those data points has a GPS point, so you can
Oh,
really
wow.
just throw this up on a map on a computer and see everything. And
Is that kind of the end goal, is to get it on a map and let's see what's going on?
yeah, because you want to know
Cool.
where the wildlife are, where
That makes
where
sense.
maybe the poachers are operating, and so you can divert resources
All right.
to those areas. So we'll just check that, and so now technically we're on patrol. And
So now we're ready.
what's really cool about this is the system is designed to both track where you're going in terms of developing maps of, we saw wildlife, we did
Yeah, yeah.
patrol here, but it's also a really good way for rangers to prove that they've done work. And so it's so
Oh,
a ranger
there
can
you
come
go.
back and say, listen, I was gone for 2 weeks.
Good
I can
talk.
prove that I've done all the work because there's a track of everything
That's so cool.
that I've done. So right
All right.
now the GPS is taking automatic points, and it's
All
going
right.
to record where we're going when we go on patrol.
Well, let's do it.
So
Ready?
start on
All
patrol.
right. All right. Keeper Tuttle. Driver Tuttle.
Yes.
We are ready to go to our first point. Thank you. Jade was in there saying yes, and she gave us a big 10-4 at the end. We're going to go right past
Bye, Pearl.
that wild ostrich there.
Fix my mask here real quick.
All right, I'm going to lean against the cab because if I don't, I'm going to fall. I'll come to you with the microphone in a second. How cool is this, guys? We're really going out on patrol. Now, we're on the Watani Grassland. So if you've been here before, this is where the rhinos are. This is where the ostrich lives. This is where the antelope are. So it's kind of a practice session for us. And one of the things that Wendy and I and Chelsea do is we try to work with Drew and Rich and Corinne and the other people on the conservation side to tell their stories. They're going out making the stories, and we're here to try to tell the stories of what's going on out there. So it becomes a really awesome team, the way everything's put together. And it works really, really well. It's exciting to be able to be part of that team. And then in our world, just so you can hear it every once in a while, we're the Conservation Education and Science Team, CES. That's who we are.
I see if I could just add something. I mean, I
Please.
think what's really cool about the team here at the zoo is North Carolina Zoo, in developing SMART, I mean, it's a really small organization relative to some of the world's biggest conservation organizations.
Yeah?
And we have a seat at the table influencing, 1,000 sites
Right.
around the world, and that's really due to the fact that we have such a great team here.
That's awesome.
And the folks, the digital guests, and the visitors who come,
Yep.
pre-COVID, they come in person. The reason we're able to do what we do is because of the people coming to the zoo
Wow.
and supporting our mission.
Great point. So a big thank you guys to you guys. When you do come to the park, your visit matters. And off my left shoulder are two amazing animals that matter as well. All right, so let's stop here. We found something, Keeper Tuttle. We found something.
All right.
So what do we find?
Well, I can tell you this is not how it always works in the real world. They're not typically right now.
They're not right here sometimes.
So we can make an observation, right?
Okay.
So this, in this case, we'll just observe that we saw rhinos. So
You're into your device. You're
Yeah.
plugging in.
So we saw wildlife sighting,
Okay.
herbivore. We can go to species, and we can see. Actually, you know what's funny is the one I used. They don't have rhinos. At
Of
the
course.
site. All right, so we're just gonna
Let's
call
make this animal up.
We'll call this a hippo.
This is, it's similar. It's close
Yeah,
enough.
General size.
So, but when we did the metadata earlier in the original app, all that would have been, any possibilities would have been in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this is configured off of a particular site that's a little bit more
Sure.
of a wetland area, and they don't have rhinos, which I forgot when I set this up.
I think you're going to forgive him, right? You guys going to forgive Drew for this?
But
that's okay.
It's just it's the same concept. So we saw two hippos,
Right.
And we can also just take a picture as well.
Oh, we can.
And if my fingers aren't
It
completely
is cold.
frozen,
Guys, it is cold out here on Watani Grasslands today. It's a wide open space. It's supposed to be. It's a grassland space. It's supposed to be wide open, but it doesn't cut the wind, and the temperatures get really chilly out here on the Watani Grasslands.
It's 36 degrees right now, Steve.
so I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but so now you've got the photo, you've got the species, and you've got the number, and we will just hit the check mark. And if we saw something else, like if we saw like a carcass, or if we saw some other point of interest, we could record that as well, and that would all be stored at the same GPS point.
Wow.
But either way, so then we would just save that, and then it takes a GPS point, and then once that circle's done, it's acquired the GPS point, and then we can go back to the patrol.
And everything says good.
Yeah,
Sweet.
and so that observation, all those hippos,
Yeah.
rhinos,
Right.
are stored with Steve and Drew are on patrol. We started in the Africa section. We're on anti-poaching. So all the metadata is stored. And so that way, when we're done, if we want to look at the data, you guys are probably most familiar with an Excel sheet, something like that.
Yep.
You can export that, and then across that line, you have every single thing that we've entered so far.
Oh, and you actually printed a report off for us, and we'll share that with you guys a little bit later on. We got to finish our patrol first. So that's cool.
Would something like a rhino midden be something you would document, so that's a place where they congregate?
Sure. Yeah.
Great question.
It depends, I think, on the goal of what the place is working on.
Okay.
So, places where there's rhinos, obviously, like in Namibia, places where the rhinos, there's a lot more data collected about the rhinos than collected about, I don't know, an impala.
Pick an animal,
because because they want to make sure they're keeping track of the priority species. So in a place like that, yeah, maybe. It's totally going to depend. Where I did my dissertation work, it was all about primates, and so that was lots of information about primates. But if I saw a hornbill, I'd just say, oh, I saw a hornbill.
Oh, okay.
So you're still you're tracking it, but not
collect
really.
information, but you collect more information about what you're focused on. But
That's
again,
cool.
in 1,000 sites, it's totally dependent on what they're interested in.
That's cool. I wonder what else we can find. Let's see if we can go on patrol a little bit further, and we'll see what's out there. I have any idea. All right, we are ready to go on patrol. Guys, while we're driving, a couple reminders for you. The winter camps at the North Carolina Zoo, registration for those are open, so we're coming off patrol for a second. So the winter camps, please register for those. If you guys are looking for something for your child to do over the winter. Christmas is coming. How about a gift, maybe? You want for your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews, maybe, to participate in the winter camps here at the North Carolina Zoo. You can register for those, which is really cool. Another thing, we've put up a survey for you a couple times in the past, and we're doing it again today. That survey is really important to us, guys. We're trying to figure out from you, our digital friends, when is this program, Zoo EDventures, and how is it being offered? What's the best thing for you guys, as well as for us? So if you can take it, we've got about 5 or 10 minutes. That's what I've been hearing. And Robert, we're still trying to figure out why it's not working for you. Please take a few minutes and fill that survey out. Even if this is your very first time watching Zoo EDventures, take a minute and fill that survey out. We've already had a handful of people respond, and thank you guys very much for doing that. Because now we're getting data to be able to figure out, okay, how can we best present this to you guys? And thank you so much for taking the time to do that as well. That is really cool. Coming back up the hill, seeing the rhinos again.
Such a cool shot to see them on the horizon.
It is. Oh, we have another animal over here on the left, so you stay on your critters. This is kind of cool. Drew, we have another animal over here.
All right.
Drew. Oh, no, look, Drew. Is that the kind of thing you might record? That looks like a campsite over there.
Yeah.
An old camp.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of places.
Do you see that, Chelsea? Looks like an old camp.
A lot of the places where we work, one of the main threats to wildlife is poaching.
Okay.
And so, something like this, like a hide or a hunting camp, we would definitely record that. So we can do another observation.
Oh, another observation here.
That would be human activity.
Okay.
And camp type.
Will you show them on the screen what you're touching?
Sure. Yeah. And actually, this is a really small detail, but what's pretty cool is we're developing all of these little icons. So in 1,000 sites, there's even more thousands of people that are using it. But we're working on this sort of universal set of icons that could theoretically be used across the different sites. So you can see, like, some of them don't have icons yet; they just haven't gotten that. But some of them do. So like camp, obviously, that one was one we could figure out. But we're still, so this one, we have a ground hide, and that one's really small, but you can see there's a little person with a little gun peeking out from behind bushes. And
That's awesome. That makes sense, though, right? It's what it is.
Yeah, so that we saw the ground hide, we'll call that, we could say it's unknown, because maybe it's active.
Okay.
So we can make that active, and we just observed it, because we're not going to go over.
No people.
We're not going to burn it down.
No.
Because we don't actually think they're poachers there. So we'll just leave that.
So Drew's taking a picture, and ladies and gentlemen, a little sidebar: if you've watched Secrets of the Zoo, North Carolina, Saturday nights at 10 o'clock,
which you should,
you may have actually seen that hide in use. That's what they used to dart one of the oryx. So again, Secrets of the Zoo, North Carolina, 10 o'clock. From Nat Geo Wild.
And if you don't have Nat Geo Wild, you can buy it on Amazon Prime for $10 the whole season.
There's your commercial entry. We appreciate you watching. Now, back to the show.
Any legal disclaimers to throw in?
I don't know if there's anything.
All right, so we've got our point, and we can move on.
So now we're going to go up the hill a little bit more. Let's get these animals over here on the left-hand side. All right, keeper driver, Chade Tuttle. On to the top. So we're going to look at some more animals up here, because we know you guys like to see our animals too, digital guests, and we love to be able to share those with you. Oh, an elephant's on the other side. So this is going to be, as we crest this hill. Not poaching, What are we doing? Patrol term? It's crest of the hill.
Sure. Yeah,
All right.
Of course.
Okay. So when we get up to the top, Kiefer Jade, can you, once we get a little bit further so we can see the Tommies a little bit more? Because the elephants are bigger. Did you guys know that? Elephants are bigger than Tommies?
I did.
Yeah.
Only because
All right,
this is
that
a
looks
smart-
great,
That's
Kiefer
why
Jade.
you're smart and you were
Smart.
That's why I had the hat on earlier.
Hat.
All right. So now, what are we going to do, Drew? We've got animals all around us.
Yeah, well, so we could do one of these observations I was talking about earlier. We can record two things at the same site.
Oh, we
which I
can.
think is really cool.
Okay.
But before we do that, I just wanted to show you just what I was referencing earlier. So
Oh, looky
you
there.
can see the track of right there is where the blinking thing is where we are, and then the red dot is where we
Oh, I
started.
see it.
So each one of those is an observation, and the blue. What do you call those? Dotted lines.
Okay.
That's the track.
That's the
log,
path.
GPS of where we went.
No way.
And obviously, it looks really weird because we're zoomed in really small.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
not driving on actual patrol, but like in a giant national park, you can follow along roads and everything.
Gotcha.
And when we're done, we'll be able to know how far we've traveled and all that stuff. So let me just go over. All right, so I'll make an observation of the elephants there that we saw. So.
So I'm sorry, Drew. While Drew's making that observation, you may have noticed that the donation button was hit for us. If you guys can and have the opportunity to do that, that would be fantastic to do a donation to the North Carolina Zoo. Just so you know, because I'm trying to keep track, we're about $32 from $4,300 for the series.
That is nuts.
Right?
We started with $0.
So it was zero. We're up to 40, almost. So $32 will get us to $4,300, and then the next big number is $4,500. It's only $232 away. But yeah, so the donation button is there. If you guys have the opportunity to click that, any donation is accepted and appreciated by your Zoo Adventures team and the entire North Carolina Zoo. So Drew is putting in some more observations. He's made the observations of the elephants already.
I have, and actually something we talked about just before we started. That I wanted to reference. So,
Please.
So SMART is obviously used for wildlife and for anti-poaching and things like that, but it is also used as sort of a basic part of management.
Okay.
And so, we talked about the waters, and a lot of the sites, again,
Okay.
like the sites in Namibia, they have boreholes, so they're really
That's
dry
right.
areas, and they have to drill down and basically make a well.
Also, literally boring down.
Yeah.
B-O-R. Okay.
Yeah, and so they'll make a hole to bring up water
Wow.
for the wildlife.
For the wildlife.
Yeah, because you want to have you need to have water holes and stuff like that, because a lot of the revenue comes from tourism.
Oh, sure.
And so they'll make sure that there are areas of water
That's
to
so
have
neat.
the animals congregate. So
So
we
you
could
check
just
on that.
pretend we saw elephants at a water hole. So that's, we're at
Okay.
a water hole. It's functioning, yes, and so a lot of them might have a solar panel
Okay.
to run the pump or a generator. That's half full.
Okay.
Water looks fine. It's not
It did,
covered
yeah.
in
We see
algae.
him drinking it.
And we could just take a photo or not. And then so now this is an example. We've got elephants at a water point.
Yep.
And so we'll have both of those things stored at the same time.
No
What's
kidding.
cool about that, this is not the same example, but imagine if you come upon something like a hunting camp,
Yes.
and you see a hunting camp, you see carcasses,
Yep.
you confiscate some rifles,
Yep.
and you arrest the poachers. You want to keep all those information at one point. And so you
Okay.
can save that all, and that's, in the weeds. That's really important when you're going and doing the analysis.
Okay.
And so it's a really cool aspect of the tool.
So being able to make multiple points and be able to reference different types of activity
Yeah.
are vital. That's so
Because
neat.
you might be interested in how many different aspects, how many observations of human activity, and each of those are technically an observation of human activity,
Right.
And
Yep.
so it's not just the camp. It's like the car has lots of different parts in it. You might be interested in how many parts of the car.
Sure. That's a great analogy. I love it.
Anyway.
And don't forget, guys, that this is done by your team here at North Carolina Zoo. Now, there's also a lot of partners out there that are part of this entire project.
Yeah.
Is there anybody we should call out as far as a partner?
Well, I mean, the SMART partnership is really key. They're the people that the group of, it's 9 organizations, including the zoo, that
Okay.
we work together with. They're the folks that develop the software and maintain the software. And then obviously we're just great partners with a lot of folks on the ground,
Nice.
like I said, the government in Namibia, government in Zambia, Panthera, WCS.
Wow.
So Wildlife Conservation
So you
Society.
can't, no one group can do it by themselves.
No, I mean we work with I think over what's our report say? Over 95 conservation
Speaking of that,
partners.
Wendy pulled this out for everybody.
Yeah.
So Wendy's
So-
showing us the report. I'll come up here so you guys can.
Yeah, I mean this is not just with Smart, but we've got more than 90 conservation partners across.
And
20
that's here at the
countries.
North. This is the North Carolina Zoo. More than 90 partners, guys.
Yeah.
And that book is the report we put out every year, right?
Every 2
other-
years.
2
every
years.
2 years,
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah, we just finished this one. Handsome Rhino on the front.
Yes, it is lovely.
So yeah, I think it's a nice hefty book. It kind of shows the impact that we're having globally.
Yep.
So check it out. It's online at our site.
And you have somebody you'd like to give a quick shout out to, I believe,
yeah,
because
just say hi to my
because
mom.
because you're doing this, and this is one of your big projects.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Drew Cronin's mother, for being
Thanks,
here with us.
Mom.
Yeah. Exciting stuff.
It's awesome to
And
put that together.
this covers not only what we do overseas and around the world, but also like right here in North Carolina, right?
Yeah. So this
and in
this
the
is
United
all
States.
of our
It's
conservation.
really neat.
Not all of our education. It's more like the international conservation education, because obviously the education probably a whole nother book on itself, and then the research that we do here at the zoo. So,
Gotcha. That is
yeah.
so cool. Good stuff. And then you have here's the report, guys.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll show you.
Thank you very much, Wendy, for your help.
Yeah. So this is totally different from what we're doing. This is from Nigeria because it's the one I
Sure,
have
yeah.
on hand. But this is an example. This is a report that I just ran from a database that took all of their smart data for the calendar year of
Okay.
2018.
So this is really cool. Chelsea will be able to show you this too.
This
I
is
think.
actually about a 30-page document. So
Oh,
it's
you've
only-
reduced more.
I've cut it down a lot,
Say thank you, guys.
and my fingers aren't working.
It's cold, guys.
But what happens is you put all the data in the database, and then
Right.
you create sort of a skeleton of the report, and you create the questions that you want to ask, the queries that you want to
Okay.
ask. So like, how many gorillas did I see? How many gorilla nests did I see?
And all that's there.
Yeah, and it's all in there. And then when you want to run the report, you pick a date range, you press run the report, and then it spits
It
it
just
out.
shoots it all to you.
Yeah, and then so what like in this one, you don't write the summary. Oh, thanks, Wendy. You don't write the summary in Smart, but you just leave a blank spot, and then you can
Okay.
write up the summary sort of like ad hoc and stuff. But
Neat.
this is directly out of Smart. So this is a map of all the patrols.
Wow.
The yellow lines here.
That's
all
a
the
lot
patrols
of lines.
walked in Embe Mountains in 2018.
So a lot of different ranger patrols going out, and this is the data they're creating.
Exactly, and then
Whoa.
this is a heat map of what that looks like in
A
terms
heat
of
map.
effort per square kilometer.
So that's where the darker colors. That's where there's a lot of people working.
Yeah, that's where they've worked the most. And
Okay.
you could, this is a giant, well, like a very steep mountain, so they didn't patrol that very area. And then you could do stuff like this, like tables, which
Oh, cool.
you know, don't seem very exciting, but are really valuable.
But yeah. I mean, so
lots of charts, and then one of these pages here has something that shows. So this is kind of like
Wow.
what we're doing now. So these are observations. So this is observations of poaching. So these are snares and cartridges and sheds. So this is like what we just did. The
oops, sorry. You're okay? That's just the wind sock.
popped your little.
That's
nut
all right.
The Muppet lost his hair.
So this is sheds and camps, which is like the data point that we just took.
Keep talking.
So this is just shows what this type of observation that we're taking. It's just a point on a map, but so this is gorillas observed. So really cool way of summarizing and pulling information from the database, and what's again, this type of report is what you're going to be using to kind of guide your decision making, figure out where
Right.
you're going to be putting the resources at your site.
And do you share that information with like governments and stuff too?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it depends on the site and who they're sharing with. But yeah, you theoretically would run this, give it
Right,
to
up the
your boss,
proverbial
up the
chain,
chain,
yeah.
And give it to your whatever the decision makers are.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So
Wendy, go ahead, Chelsea.
Sorry. So we've actually had a couple people asking if there's a way that they can view that document online, or if the patrol we're doing today, if we'll be able to see the results of that.
Well, today is going to be a little unexciting.
Yeah.
But
We can have our friends answering questions. Put up the link to the conservation
The report
part
itself,
on the
yeah.
website, and there's the report in our conservation.
And that's the report you show. That's the book.
Yeah,
What about
that's
this
it.
stuff? Is there an
So,
app or something?
I don't know if I can share this specifically because this is an internal report for the
I
government.
see. Okay, good.
So this is a government partner we work with, so I
Sure.
can't just.
No, yeah.
Especially, I mean, this is from Nigeria, but if you guys can imagine, places with rhinos, you can't share information about rhinos because poaching is quite bad.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But we
That's a
do
very good
have
point.
some. We do have some samples if they went to the Smart website. There's some sample
Oh, okay.
patrols on there.
So there's a website for SMART, and it is literally SMART, guys. It's literally SMART.
Yeah. So
Well,
if you went to, I think it's smartconservationtools.org, and you can find some information. Yeah.
SmartConservationTools.org. Well, I think we're going to go find a rhino and end up with a rhino up here. So let's tell our driver to go up to the top of the hill here. Keeper driver Tuttle, can you go find us some rhinos at the top of the hill? Thank you. So one last little stop. We figure we should show you rhinos. I don't know how you guys do these tours. Look, geez, this is bouncy and safari-ish. So we'll wrap up with a little bit of rhino information. Just because, well, they're rhinos. Believe it or not, this is the ants and babies from a couple years ago.
Look over here.
Coming over here, Chelsea. All right, now we need Keeper Jade. Now we need Keeper Jade, not Driver Jade.
Yeah.
Who's coming up on the passenger side right?
Bonnie.
That's Bonnie. So this is Bonnie, guys.
This was our.
Oops, I'm sorry, what'd you say, Jade?
She likes to eat tires.
She likes to eat tires. So this is Bonnie, everybody. Say hi to Bonnie. Bonnie, thank you for coming over and saying hi. Bonnie is 2.5. 2.5, Jade?
Yep.
2.5.
How much did she weigh?
I don't think she heard you.
Hey Jade, how much do you weigh now, roughly? Steve,
And is this, yes.
at 2.5 years old, Keeper Jade says she weighs just under
1,500?
3,500 pounds.
3,500? And is this Abby coming over here? Yeah, and then this is Abby. Abby is the big girl. She's our largest rhino at well over 5,000 pounds. And this is an animal that the SMART tool, the Rangers of Africa, actually are pursuing, actually are monitoring in the countries. This is the southern white rhino. You can see that wonderful horn. But unfortunately, as you guys know, digital guests, that's why they're being poached. They're being killed for that horn. So being able to have a tool like SMART that helps manage the population as well as the rangers that are there to kind of put rangers where the product, remember the resources we mentioned earlier, let's put the people, put the rangers where they can make the most impact. And the tool developed by your North Carolina Zoo team helps to do that. And I mean, look at Bonnie's right here, guys. And unfortunately, Chelsea, real quick, can weigh in with this is what they're being poached for. This is the horn of a rhinoceros. Now, this is just a tip of one that broke off, so we were able to kind of smooth it out so you can share with you. And all it is hair. All it is a fibrous material called keratin. Touch your hair, guys. Touch your fingernails. Drew's doing a very good job for you. He's demonstrating over here. That's the same material that the rhino's horn is made of. And unfortunately, this is what they're being poached for. So programs like SMART EDventures program, being able to share information with everybody, to say, guys, the only animal that needs a horn of a rhinoceros is a rhinoceros. Right?
If I could just add something,
Please.
too, I think, again, coming back to the importance of the zoo audience or visitors contributing to our mission, the partners we work with in Namibia, they've lost a ton of their tourism revenue during COVID because people aren't traveling. And I just was having a conversation the other day, and the support that we've been able to provide both technical and financial, to help bridge the gap right now, is the reason why they're still able to do these patrols.
Wow.
They said that they wouldn't have been able to do the patrols because they've lost that revenue.
No kidding.
And that's critical. The largest free-ranging black rhino population in the world is in Namibia.
Wow.
And so obviously these aren't black rhinos, but
Right, but the idea there.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
we're really able to have an impact thanks to the team and the support that.
Wonderful. I love it. I love that everything kind of comes together in one big swoop, as they say. All right, team. Thank you so much, digital guest. I do want to share an activity with you. This is probably being posted as we speak. Oop, hello.
I'll take my my patrol.
It's Rhino crossing. We
Oh,
make that kind of sign.
So here is an activity you guys can do. It's posted on our website about SMART. And the cool thing is you can actually do your own tracking. You can come up with your own plan, your own pattern, and be able to put it on there and do your own patrol at home, in a park, in your backyard, in the woods.
And the great thing about this activity is it can actually be done indoors as well. You don't have to see animals or be outside to do
Great
this one.
point, Chelsea.
You can
Thank
track
you
your
so much.
house cat around
How
the house.
cool is that? Or your little brother.
Yep.
Ooh, my
I
little
mean,
brother.
even furniture. It's, you know.
Oh, put it in there. Yeah, make the map that way. That's a neat idea. That's a cool idea.
Rainy day or not.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Couple quick reminders. The winter camps are posted. They'd make a great gift for a grandkid, for a niece and nephew, and even for your child, of course, as well. So those are on there. Please take a look at the survey, about 5 to 10 minutes. Check it out, fill out the survey, even if this is your first one ever watching. What'd you think? And when did you see it? And then the other questions, when would be the best time? What's the best day? Subject. All that is in there because we want to be able to provide the best product for you guys as well. Don't forget the show, Secrets of the Zoo, North Carolina, on Nat Geo Wild. It's on 10 o'clock at Saturday nights. Fridays at 3. We do a little bit of a preview, just so you know. And it's a Facebook Live kind of thing. The donation button is there. Again, we were $32 shy of $4,300. I hope we can make it. That'd be fantastic. And I think that's it.
Wednesday.
I was going to great. That was our next thing, Wednesday. You have to be there
We have to be here Wednesday.
on Wednesday, guys. You have to be here Wednesday.
We're gonna make a splash on Wednesday.
Ooh, and it'll be chilly. It'll be a chilly splash. You really want to be here Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock.
We have an announcement.
Ooh,
Not
that's
a big one. Not
that's
like a zoo
sneaky.
announcement. It's an education.
An education announcement. And Drew, thank you so much for your time today. I know it's been a cold day, but I really think we have a lot of people watching. So we truly appreciate Drew's time for being here and kind of giving you guys a behind the scenes on the behind the scenes at the conservation team at North Carolina Zoo. So thank you guys so very much. Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 o'clock, your Zoo Adventures team. Steve's in front of the camera today. Chelsea was behind the camera.
Have a good day, guys.
Wendy was here too.
Thanks. Have a good day. I was gonna say glad to be back, but I got distracted by a rhino.
Well, there's a rhino right there. Y'all, the zoo is open. Time tickets still, limited opportunities, and then we're having those opportunities to register online to come in. So take advantage of that when you can. Stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Bye, y'all.
Bye.